guys, welcome to Inside Movies. Today we're reviewing Jurassic Park. I'm joined by filmmaker and comic book writer Spencer Estabrooks, writer and illustrator Greg CHOMICHUK, and novelist Andrew Buckley. Hey guys, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us, George.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Jurassic Park, it doesn't really need an introduction, but it's a 1993 movie directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum. It's about dinosaurs that get, cloned and brought back to life, put into like a zoo, and, shit breaks down and mayhem ensues. So this is one of my absolutely favorite movies. I totally love this one. It's probably the movie I've watched the most. I had a VHS of it when I was a kid, and I wore that thing out. So I'm excited to dive into it with y'all. I'd like to start off by going into the good. What did you guys?
Wait. Can I say something?
Yeah.
I just have personally, I have too much good to say, and because last week we kind of led with the good, but I think this movie's so good. Can we lead with the bad? What do people hate about this? There's nothing to hate, and then I can fight you about it.
I have a long list. But
You have a long list of bad?
It's not that long. My good is longer for this one than it is for the bad, as opposed to Superman, where it's a very short good list.
And as long as we're talking about last week's episode, I'll make a connection for George's sake to segue from last week's episode to this one. Jurassic Park allegedly was almost directed by Richard Donner, who did direct Superman. So imagine that version. Imagine Superman as Jurassic Park. Now we're getting somewhere.
Spielberg, man, he nailed it. He nailed it.
He crushed it. All right, yeah, let's mix it up. Let's go into the bad.
Okay.
What did you guys not like about this awesome movie?
It was too good to hate. Is my problem. The first thing I really annoyed. There's, just too damn good. I'm not perfection sucks. I like flawed films. Flawless ones are really annoying. So, personal opinion.
I found it annoying what's his name? Is it John Hammond, the owner? He keeps on saying spared no expense, spared no expense, I spared no expense. It's like, yeah, all right, dude, we get it. You're a baller. Just come on.
That's David Attenborough's brother, I believe.
It is, yeah. Richard Attenborough.
Yeah. So
I thought he said that a little bit too much. I didn't necessarily everyone's kind of poo-pooing on his idea, and it's this is fucking awesome. Why are we this can't Jeff Goldblum, Dr. Ian Malcolm, he's just no, the life finds a way and this is gonna go to shit, and I'm just fuck off. Come on, dude. This is so good. How miserable of a bastard are you that you see dinosaurs and you're no, I don't like this.
There was this odd beat, if we're talking about bad stuff, that I liked it. It's funny in the film, but it's kind of I disliked it. This disagreeing was the sexy character, right? He's all supposed to be the sex appeal, and he is anti everything. He doesn't agree with what anyone says, and he's the rock star bad boy who just sits back and is I knew it would all go wrong, I hate always being right. And his arrogance tied to his sex appeal, I found I didn't like that so much. I wished he had just been right and sexy, but not a dick about it. That's what I would have liked better.
He was the rebel with all his chaos theory and shit.
Oh, yeah.
I love chaos theory. I think it's great. And I think he's sexy, man. Goldblum is just I was yeah, I dressed like him after this movie.
Yeah, his charisma is just off the charts.
Yeah, for sure. The best special effect, I think, is his charisma in this film.
and
that's some great special effects, but he drips. It's dripping off of him.
It is. It's super sexy.
If we're talking about the bad, one thing that is actually kind of lame is, and I hate to say it, but it's the little girl saving the day with the computers, and she likes to be referred to as a hacker. It's fuck off.
Yeah.
Dude, she knew Unix. Kids today, they probably don't know what Unix is. As far yes, they had to do the cheesy visual representation of looking for your files, right? But a lot of it, no one wants to watch command line keys doing dir, looking for programs to run. You should be looking for a piece of software to run, not a file. But I think they dumbed that down for the audience. But I mean, she knew
He
Unix.
actually refers to Unix, which actually made sense. That if
I know.
you could code, right?
I know, as like a former computer nerd, and there are a lot of kids that were hackers at that age, like that were like super nerdy, like people. And considering her like grandfather's just like whatever brilliant rich dude, right? She probably would have the luxury and expensive computers to do all that stuff and to learn that stuff. So, yeah.
As a 13-year-old, I still cringed at that line where she's like, "I know this," and it's
You're
like,
right.
"Oh, the realization." I hated it.
I know, but as a nerd, when she said Unix, I was like, "Oh."
All the coders were like, "Oh, makes me laugh."
Oh.
I'll go out and I'll point out too that one thing that most filmmakers won't. I mean, there's filmmakers in this group right here, and so one of the things that I dislike about this movie is when I found out that the T-Rex scene where the T-Rex bites into the car and the plexiglass, they're holding up the plexiglass with their feet. That was an accident, and that animatronic T-Rex was not supposed to punch through the plexiglass like that. And they made a mistake and nearly crushed those two kids with the T-Rex and then used the take.
Beautiful. That's chaos theory. Bring it all back to chaos theory. A butterfly flapped his wings and two kids almost died and it made a better movie.
I just think that you should have a little more safety on set of a movie that's that expensive. But maybe that's wishful thinking for me. Yeah.
Yeah, Werner Herzog School of Filmmaking is a little more dangerous.
Werner Herzog. Something else I had as a bad is the hero or the anti-hero of the story is never given any props. That T-Rex eats the lawyer, who was a dick because he just left the car with the two kids in it, and then at the end, the T-Rex shows up and saves Dr. Grant and the kids from the freaking raptors. And all the way through all the Jurassic movies, the T-Rex actually always emerges as like this hero who busts in at the last minute and saves people. No one ever gives the T-Rex any props.
Yeah, the T-Rex is he's the Aragorn of this movie. He just arrives right when he needs to, right? Knows his way around the island.
Right?
I do love that. There's that one shot that's so epic. Just after after everyone flees from the building, like he comes over there, knocks the bones, like because of the T-Rex skeleton up there. He knocks it over, takes its place, roars menacingly as the banner floats slowly, and it's like, yeah, that's a good shot. That's a
so cool
nice shot there. Props to your anti-hero. Like I think they gave him some credit.
One thing that is kind of weird in the movie is like it was very much made like for all ages, but definitely for kids too to like love, and it hit me right where. But you make your hero like Dr. Grant like not like kids, and he kind of seems like a bit of a miserable bastard. And when he's talking about like slicing that kid's like intestines open with the raptor claw,
that's perfect.
Yeah, but it's kind of a weird fit that it's like this guy like hates kids, and this is like a movie that kids are gonna like and stuff. But then I don't know. I don't think that Sam Neill really has like the same charisma as like Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. It's very different vibe, and I kind of felt like they were trying to make him like Indy, but he's just different.
Harrison Ford was supposed to, or was offered the part. Actually, he turned it down.
How do you turn down Jurassic Park? That makes sense.
Well, I guess you don't know that it's going to be good. But Sam Neill's, it's a classic. Spielberg, all of his movies are the same in this regard. Wherever the characters begin their arc, when we introduce them, they're going to be the opposite of that at the end of the movie. Every character does that maneuver, right? If they're a main character. And so he starts hating kids, ends up liking them. It's as obvious as can be. At the time when I first saw it, though, I just thought that was a great element. Right.
For me, though, like Indiana Jones is like the cool guy that I want to be, whereas like Dr. Grant, even though he's kind of Indiana Jones-esque, he's still kind of like a dad. You don't really want to be dad. You want to be like the cool guy with the whip.
Yeah.
They give him all these lines where he's like, he says a line, moves in and looks. They're just like they did the best to make him cool.
Yeah, they tried hard. But, you just can't compete with Goldblum. People want to be Jeff Goldblum. They want to know what Sam Neill knows. and they hope they settle down with somebody who is as great as the other doctor there. What is her name?
Dr. Stadler, Ellie Stadler.
Yeah, she's great. I thought her character actually was would have actually made a better hero, like a main character in the film.
Maybe, but she'd rather like hang out with like Tyrannosaurus, or what do you call it? The three horns, Triceratops, like shit, and like dig through that, than like go on the adventure with everyone.
Wait, so in like a marry, fuck, kill scenario, I mean, we would kill Dr. Grant, we would marry Ellie Stadler, and we would fuck Ian Malcolm.
Fuck Ian Malcolm, yeah, for sure.
As long as we're all agreed on this point, I'm happy saying it.
Yeah.
All right, I can't shit on this movie anymore because I love this movie. Like, let's get into like the good. Like, what do you guys like about it?
Okay, I have a good that's also a bad, so it's like a transitional.
So do I. Good.
It's they made this movie once already with killer robots. It was written by Michael Crichton. It was directed by Michael Crichton. Yeah, and it's called Westworld. They already did that movie once. And so one of the things I find sort of bad about it is it's just a remake of Westworld where it's dinosaurs instead of robots. A writer of that caliber, a director of that caliber, a studio with that much money, is it good or bad that they took the formula and they remixed it with dinosaurs? I think it's fair to say that dinosaurs and cowboys are both equally anachronistic. But like mythologized, and so that part's great. But I hated that when I found it out. But I do like the fact that from the very moment that someone says let's bring dinosaurs back to life, it's going to go badly, and people are going to get eaten, and you just wait for it the entire time.
But it's not the first time people have like resurrected a genre, and the first Westworld was terrible. And Spielberg crushed this one.
Oh yeah, this is Spielberg crushing it for sure. Yeah,
Spielberg crushed it so much.
Jurassic World is terrible.
Sorry, won't go. No, Westworld was a brutal movie. I mean, the TV show was a little bit better. Anyway, but Spielberg crushed it so hard that he made 2 sequels with the exact same problems, and then went ahead and made 3 more sequels
with the same problem.
Exact same problem, where you just know it's going to go bad, but they keep doing it
because of the chaos theory.
Because of chaos theory. He was right.
Chaos theory.
Have you guys seen the Battle at Big Rock, the short film that Colin Trevorrow or whatever made? It's on YouTube. It's amazing. You guys, anyone watching this, go watch that next. It's great. It's a short film set in the Jurassic world, and it's like 10 minutes long. It's about a family camping and dinosaurs show up. It's insane. You have to check it out.
Spielberg is definitely at the height of his powers in this film, right? And one of the things I absolutely love about the storytelling of this movie is that the element of the ride, like them getting into those cars and separating into those 2 groups, lets you have the kids' point of view and the adults' point of view happening simultaneously but separate. And so every adult that's in the theater watching that movie relates with one group, and every kid relates to the other, and you see that interplay through the entire film. And nobody actually does crosscuts or ensemble casts, I think, as well as Steven Spielberg does, at least not at that time. Not in the 90s. He was the only one doing it well. Everyone tried.
I think one thing that Jurassic Park does incredibly well is it mixes in moments of levity into the action and the horror, to give you a second to breathe, so those moments just hit that much harder the next time. And they do it in a way that's not over the top. It's not like Robert Downey Jr. busting a joke. It's objects may appear closer in the mirror when the T-Rex is gaining on you, or they're the dinosaurs outside and they got to wipe the steam because the heat of their bodies is fogging up the windows. There's so many moments, when they're climbing down the vines and the girl chokes Dr. Grant, and he's, it's just like little seconds where it just gives you moments to breathe, and it's funny and it's fun and it's all natural and you believe every second of it. I think it's just incredible. I think a lot of times now, like one scene, like I love Thor Ragnarok, it's great, but I thought it was not a good use of levity was when Thor's home planet is blowing up, and Korg says, "Oh well, as long as it's got like good foundations, you can rebuild." It's like the planet is fucking, millions of people are dying, and you're cracking jokes here. Like that wasn't the time for that, in my opinion. And so I think the way it mixes humor in with the action and the horror it's done better than almost any movie. I really appreciate it a lot.
And even the style of action too. Like, I mean, there's like some great jump scares, some great with a little when it scares Newman with a little that thing, versus the T-Rex coming right with the water glass and the vibration, right, the slow build, like it's coming. So there's like two.
Right, that's with the guitar string underneath the car, and it made the perfect vibration from the middle of the water.
I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'll say too is that what I really like about Steven Spielberg as a filmmaker at this time in his career is you can see skills learned and then applied. So you take Jaws, wet, monster. He's taken all of the skills that they've learned, knowing that the latex and the prosthetic builds will always look better if it's wet. And so it's raining constantly through the movie. It's just raining. Whenever there's a T-Rex, the rain is pouring. Whenever there is a dinosaur to look at, the rain is pouring. And when they have the ability to do close-ups, small dinosaurs, right? You only see the feet, you only see the head, you only see the hands, you see all the little bits of it because it's just all strapped to an actor doing all of that stuff to build suspense. I just like the way that you can see his filmography of E.T. and Jaws all put together into Jurassic Park for all those effects. Awesome.
It is near perfect. Like it's a hard one to pull anything bad out of because it is really well done. I mean, arguably they kill off the villain halfway through and shit still goes south for another 45 minutes after that. Like one of my good to bad points was that Wayne Knight's Dennis Nedry is like an amazing character. He's so much freaking fun. Such a dork. That's the guy you chose to like pull off your freaking heist. And he makes every single mistake possible. Like shutting down the electric fences, opening the gates, like driving like an idiot through the rain where he can't see. Like he just makes one error after another. And then he starts making fun of the freaking dinosaur. Like you're insulting the thing that's bouncing around chirping at you. Like it's crazy, but that scene is one of my favorites.
When he spins the sign, like the arrow, like he forgets which way to go, like
he's just like spinning it around.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. And when his death scene is so great.
I like that this movie just introduced like just the general like consciousness of like to velociraptors. I don't think anybody really knew about velociraptors.
Nope.
Before that, and now we've got sports teams named after them. That's how cool this movie was.
It definitely hit the public consciousness for sure. One of the things that is also great in the film, like from a storytelling standpoint, is that how our heroes get to the island and how our villain is planning to leave the island. They're there for the same reason. They both want money.
Yeah.
They both are just suffering from that human need. And one of them, one group is like, hey, fund our dig. We'll learn more about dinosaurs in the ground. Okay. They say no at first, right? But you write that check, you get them to do whatever you want. The villain is exactly the same, right? You write that check, he'll do whatever you want. And that interplay in the story structure, I just thought was really great at this time around watching it.
It's a perfect hero-villain paradigm. Like same coin, different sides. Like it's really well put together.
Score was good.
Oh, the score was amazing. That first scene when they first see the dinosaurs always gave me chills. When they like drove the Jeeps up for the first time. And Ellie's like looking at the plant, like this hasn't been around for blah blah blah.
All the rising shots, all the shots are like they just keep looking before they reveal. It's like look again. All these people looking.
The incredulity that the actors were able to put across their faces, all in unison. I'd love to see what the reverse of that was.
Just Spielberg holding a sign with a dinosaur head on it.
Yeah, surprised. See, he just holds up the sign. Surprised.
I think it's great that, like in the script, how they don't tell the characters that they're going to like a dinosaur island, and so you get that moment of, astonishment. Because if they all knew where they were going, what they were going to see, it takes the fun out of it. And I think it's always fun as like an audience member knowing something that the characters don't know. So like, that it's going to, the dinosaurs are going to be there, but they don't know. And then, and to see the wonderment and the astonishment, that's one thing that Spielberg does great. Even you saw it in, like, I know he just produced it, but I could see his fingerprints all over it. Was the first Transformers movie when they first meet the robots and there's a sense of wonder. He's really great at having that kind of childlike kind of enthusiasm for something new or alien or strange. And I thought he really just nailed it with this. Yeah, I love this movie. I went to Kauai a few years ago, and I had like a helicopter trip booked, and like I wanted to go and like fly. Like I love this movie so much, and unfortunately, like bad weather like ruined my excursion. But I was so psyched for it. I absolutely love this movie. It's so much fun. Are we ready to give out scores?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll go first.
All right.
I give it 1 T-Rex out of 1 T-Rex because it's perfect. It's a 1 point system. It's either you pass or fail.
It's a pass-fail T-Rex system. Yeah.
Pass-fail T-Rex.
Yeah.
T-Rex pass.
Mm-hmm.
I give it an A+. I love this movie. It holds up 100%. We didn't really talk about the velociraptors in the kitchen scene, but that scene, the T-Rex outside of the holding paddock with the goat and everything. It's so much fun. It holds up 100%. It's still great. If you haven't seen this movie and you're watching this review, watch it for sure. Yeah, I love it. Greg?
Samuel Jackson. We never mentioned Samuel Jackson either.
I was going to mention Samuel Jackson. It gets only a B+ for me because Samuel Jackson is built up as being this great character, and he gets no arc. He's just cut away from that scene. There's an entire Samuel Jackson running from the velociraptors, outsmarting them and dropping F-bombs. I'm sure of it. That's on the living room floor somewhere. And if you reinsert a director's cut with 20% more Samuel Jackson at the end before his arm gets left behind, then you get an A+ out of me. But it's a B+ until the Samuel Jackson cut is restored.
He's out there with like one arm and a machine gun, just, you motherfuckers!
That is
raptors on a motherfucking island.
We never saw him die. We just saw that he lost an arm. He's still.
Oh my God! I have never. There's an entire film running in my head of Samuel Jackson with one arm on Jurassic Park right now.
Jesus, this would be
still on the
great.
island. Can you imagine you popped up in Jurassic World? Just let one leg.
One-armed Samuel Jackson show up in Jurassic World and redeem that entire franchise.
It would have been amazing.
Riding the T-Rex.
Riding a T-Rex. Just one arm.
No, he would have tamed the raptors. Like, instead of using the little clicky thing and all that little nonsense, he would just look at them. He would do what he said.
He would have shouted at them into submission. They wouldn't have had a chance.
Oh my God. They'd meet a T-Rex that says "motherfucker," right? And that's how they'd know he's still alive, right?
They went back in Jurassic World and all of velociraptors sound like Samuel Jackson all of a sudden. That's his mark he's left on the world. That'd be amazing. I gave it an A-, and my reasons are different. I read the book before I saw the movie, and it was.
I also read the book before I saw the movie. Yeah,
and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of all time. I think, on a flight from England to Canada, and I read most of it. It was amazing. They cut out some of the best parts from the book.
Yeah, Hammond dying. I wanted him to die so bad when I saw it. Yeah, no, didn't get killed.
And the atrium, which they put into Jurassic Park 3, was such a cool sequence in the book, and I was so bummed that it wasn't in the movie. So it gets an A- just because they skipped out on some of the cool parts.
And the little girl getting attacked by the little compies is also in the book, but they put it in the second movie.
And they never explained about the compies either, that they're like they like little venomous things that they make you feel euphoric as they're eating you, kind of thing. That was never.
Yeah, you feel good while they eat your fingers.
Totally. It's a messed up little dinosaur. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for being on Inside Movies. Spencer Estabrooks, Greg CHOMICHUK, Andrew Buckley. The links to all your socials are in the description. So, guys, if you want to go out and follow these guys, absolutely do that. I've been George Michail. This has been Inside Movies. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.